Okay, what's up? We got a really cool knife. This is actually one of my favorites. This is the Spyderco Matriarch 2. Now, I've done some things to it. I added custom scales from Flytanium. These are titanium scales. They were very easy to bolt right on. The Matriarch 2 handle is the exact same as the Enduro. The difference is obviously the blade, and the Matriarch 2 features the reverse S curve civilian blade from the civilian Spyderco. Biggest difference between those two, the Emerson Wave. I also added the Wiseman Company Signet Ring. Now there's a couple of different companies that make these things, but for this particular model, what they did was the back spacer that would normally be in here, which is just a little plastic insert, they machine milled this all out of aluminum, and it's bolted in securely from 3 separate spots. The blade itself, don't use it for anything. This is a self-defense knife. This is an EDC that's not an EDC. And basically what I mean by that is I carry this every day. I've never used it for anything. This is just in case I ever have to defend myself with a knife. Now, I've carried one of these before, and the original one that I had, I never changed the scales, but I did get the ring for it. I had the black finish, and the idea behind that one was, the punch you don't see coming is usually the one that puts you down. That's cool, but I'm not going to be coming up behind people to slice their throat. So, deploying this knife, I'm hoping, if I ever have to, it'll be a deterrent enough to somebody change their mind about whatever their intentions were that would cause me to do that in the first place. I'm always a little on the fence about Karambit style knives, and this is not a Karambit, but it is definitely that style. That ring can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. So, and what I mean by that is anybody who also knows how to fight with a knife can take that and use it against you. You get it in your hand and they get this thing a hold of, and now it becomes, they can get you in some compromising situations. But the reason that I did this is because when you deploy this knife from the pocket, oh, and I will say the scales are from Flytanium, by the way, and I had them drill in the left tip up hold just so that I could carry this on my right hand side, boom, and be able to grab this knife and pull it out, and because that's a whole ledge, not a piece of fabric. Catch that lip, and the whole knife, I've got it out as soon as I grab it. And it's a little easier to just grab this from your pocket and pull than it is to grab and then pull out. Both can be done, and in fact, I'm thinking I'm gonna switch this from the left side tip up to the right so that I can grab it like this by the ring and deploy it, like that. But so far I've been carrying it so that I can deploy it underhand. I haven't cut myself yet, but this I chose to carry alongside with this. This is my Microtech Halo V, and a lot of Microtech guys will probably say I am an asshole for beating this thing up the way I did. You can tell by the wear and tear that I carry this every day. I use this knife for everything. This is a single action OTF, which means you got a charging plunger here. You gotta hold the button, grab there, pulls out. It's registered in my name. Comes with a serial number, all that stuff. I'm not going to show that right away because I don't want anybody. I don't know. I just don't want. You don't need to know which knife is mine. But mine came from 2014, and This I thought was the shit, and I had to have it, and I love it, and I use it every day. I've probably owned about eight or nine different Microtechs. This is the only one I still have. The other ones I used, and they were gifts, and that's kind of how I do. I'll get a knife, and I'll wear it for a while. I'll see if I like it, and go from there. At the time, I had decent money coming in. I could justify buying $300, $400, $500 knives, and then I'm pretty generous in nature. So I've given a Microtech to my uncle, and that was one of the vintage ones. I've had a couple Ultratechs I've given out. I gave one to my cousin, gave one to my nephew, gave one to my father. I've had 2 Combat Trodons, which are the ones, I believe it's the model that you can see in John Wick. That's the one he uses. I believe it's a Combat Trodon. And he has the dagger, which is double-sided. And that was actually the first Microtech I ever had, and I gave that one to my brother. Problem is, he actually was able to jam that knife up. He got it so clogged with shit that it wouldn't fire, and he had to tap it for it to come out, and then you could bring it back, the plunger back, tap it, and the blade would retract. So he trashed it basically, and I could either take it apart or send it to Microtech. Microtech is not very well known for having good customer service. But anyway, of all the Microtechs I've owned, this is the one I like the most, and if it ever dies on me, I will send it in to have it fixed. If they tell me they will not only not fix it, but they're not going to send it back, I won't own another one. They can kiss my ass. I've never avoided the warranty. I've never taken this knife apart, but I will say between these 2 knives, even though this is a push button OTF knife, which means out the front, the Spyderco with the Emerson Wave, fastest knife I've ever had. This is exactly as quick as a fixed blade knife, and it's not a fixed blade knife. And you can look up other videos and see people deploying this knife, and it takes a little bit of practice, just get used to it mostly, but you can pretty much pick it up real quick. And this isn't the only model that they make with the Emerson Wave. In fact, Emerson is a knife company, and they make stuff. Spyderco collaborates with them, and they use this on some of their models. I don't know the other models. I'm usually not a big Spyderco guy. I wasn't a big fan of them before, but I know they're quality knives, and when they came out with this, I was like, I gotta have it. It's just such a neat knife, and originally I think what I wanted was a Spyderco Harpy, and that was just because I was a big Silence of the Lambs movie, and that's the knife that he uses. Hannibal Lecter does. In fact, there's a video of this a Matriarch 2, where the guy, he got gold-plated blade, gold-plated handle, scales, and he's got the whole thing engraved with Silence of the Lambs movie scenes, and it's a really good-looking knife. And at some point, I was going to have this engraved with some sort of I don't know, quid pro quo or something that would tilt a nod towards Silence of the Lambs, but we'll see. I will say that this was a lot of fun putting together. I've customized a few handguns that I had a really good time doing. You buy stuff, you look it up, you wait for it, it comes in the mail. This was really neat to do because, again, the other one that I owned, I gave to my nephew. Just because I'm generous. I'll carry a knife. And, I was basically designating my right pocket to this knife alone that I never use. And then I kind of said, well, how often do I use my right pocket in general? Well, not very. Now, I've gotten used to not putting stuff in there. Put my phone in my back pocket, take it out when I sit down. But I bought the knife, and then I found out that these Wiseman signet rings were being made. So I'd already given the knife to my nephew, but the ring was only about $40 all in all. So I ordered it too, and the knife you can get on Amazon for like $110, something like that. So I ordered the ring too, and I went over to my nephew's house, and I was like, look, man, I want to put this on there. I just kind of want to see what this looks like. I won't destroy your knife, but keep in mind, I handed you a $110 knife out of the goodness of my heart. So whether you say yes or no, I'm gonna tell you shut the fuck up, and I'm gonna do it anyway. I put one on his knife, and it came out fine. It was real simple. Just unbolt this, and unfortunately, doing so negates the lifetime warranty. But I unbolted it, put the ring on there, loved it. And then I started getting into, do they make custom scales? And then I found, Flytanium, put this together. I am going to get a replacement pocket clip. Just, I got to a point where I was like, well, why stop now? The reason this is black and all this is, silver, I ordered this in the middle of the pandemic. And they didn't have silver. They had this available. And I thought, well, push come to shove, if it really bothers me, I can get this sandblasted and bring it down to the base aluminum and polish it out from there and call it square. But I don't think I am. I kind of like the little black accents. It's not a big deal. Doesn't bother me. But yeah, these are my EDCs, and I am real happy with them. So I recommend both. But I will say, this is 110. This is way more than 110. This is like $550 knife when I bought it, and I think you can get one now for about $6. But I've carried this for about 6 years, and I've gotten to the point now where and I'll show you that, the belt clip it comes with, I've worn it out. There's a little crack right here next to this bolt. It only bolts in on these two, and it's time for a new one. And these are replacement. You can get new ones of these. I think I've seen them that they're just straight up made out of custom carbon fiber, Kydex. They got all kinds of cool shit. I have had to replace the little inserts in there. There's like the soft part of Velcro. You cut a strip of that off of something and just glue it in there, and it gives it something to purchase on. And I did wrap this with tennis racket grip stuff, and I just thought it was funny. Works good, doesn't affect the mechanism of the blade, and if anything, this on top of having the soft Velcro in there, not the scratchy shit, the soft part, this thing really sits in there really well. You don't have to worry about running and it bouncing out. You invest $500 on a knife, you fucking want it to be there when you reach for it, and when it ain't, it's kind of like losing your wallet. But yeah, these are my EDCs. I carry both of them every day. This one I use for everything. This I hope to use for nothing, ever, at all. But I have it in case. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Deuces.